All right, so as I said earlier, we'd talk about Wikidata, components of Wikidata, principles, policies, and facts, misconceptions, and go on to make some demo. And at the end of the training, we'll be able to understand what Wikidata is and its usefulness. We'd also be able to understand some key components and guidelines and policies on Wikidata and be able to make some minor and major edits as well. And I'll go to the next slide. So first of all, what is Wikidata? So Wikidata is a free and open knowledge base that is read, edited, and used by both human beings and machines. So it stores data in a very structured format, and it is linked to other Wikimedia projects like Wikipedia, Wikimedia Commons, Wikiquotes, Wikivoyage, and several other projects. And every content on Wikidata is under a free license. It's exported using standard formats and can be interlinked to other open data sets on the linked data web. So basically, Wikidata is a free and open knowledge base. Anybody can use it and anybody can edit it, both humans and machines. And so you must have heard about or interacted with Wikipedia. So, and Wikimedia Commons and several other sister projects. So Wikidata is linked to these projects, is linked to Wikipedia and others. The formats and the data stored in Wikidata is in a structured format, in a sense that you don't have to read it as articles. The data is grouped in a structured format. When we go into the demo, I would show you what I mean by that. Each data is stored as an entity and is built with statements and properties and values. We'll go into more of that. And so once you are on the web, if you log into wikidata.org, this is the interface you see. This is how it looks like. This is just like a snapshot of how the interface looks like on the main page. So what are the components on Wikidata? Like I said, Wikidata is structured and organized into entities and properties. So you can have entities about a person, a place, a concept, a team, an organization. You can create Wikidata items for it. So those entities are called items. But on Wikipedia, we call it articles. You know, we're writing articles and reading articles. But on Wikidata, we refer to it as an item. So that item can be anything, it can represent anything. It can be a person, create an item about a place, about a concept, about an abstract topic. Basically anything, you can create an item on Wikidata for it. And those items is a combination, they're a combination of statements. So you have to, for instance, if you are creating an item about a human being, you have to tell us what makes up the human being, parts of the body, for instance, your eyes, your ears, your nose, and all of that. So same way it is on the item, you have to, it has to be like a combination of statements, and those statements are what adds information and more value to the item. It gives you a better knowledge and understanding about the item. Wow. And so those items could be like, you could have labels. Usually they have labels and descriptions. And so each item has a label which is usually the name, and then there's a description, like a short description to bring more clarity and just so you know have an idea of what the item is about. And then we have like a property. And so these properties are what you use to define the characteristics of the item. So for example, if you are creating an item about a human being, you say that what makes up a human being, the properties that you could use to define that human, as say maybe date of birth, a country of citizenship, occupation, maybe the sex or gender of the person. So those are called properties. And now the next thing you need to know is a statement. You must have heard me mention that. So a statement is a combination of a property and a value. Now I'm going to break it down. So if you are creating an item, for instance, about a human being, the property that defines the human being could be, for instance, country of citizenship, and say, so that country of citizenship is the property, and then the value is going to be what country. It could be Nigeria, it could be Cameroon, it could be Canada, it could be, depends. That's how it works. So each item has a statement, should have a statement, and that statement is a combination of the property and the value. I have on the slide, I said, if you have an item about Bola Tinubu, Bola Tinubu is the president of Nigeria, and a property that you could use for him is occupation, and then the value will be politician. So that's how it works. You'd have a property, and then you have a matching value for it. And so Wikidata is multilingual, can be stored in multiple languages to promote localization and the accessibility. So if you don't speak English, maybe you speak French, you speak Portuguese, you speak Arabic, you speak Uganda, whatever language you speak, Wikidata supports your language. You can add content in your own language aside from English. Also, on Wikidata, we have what we call unique identifiers. We have unique identifiers, and these unique identifiers are assigned to every item that you create. It makes it easy for the data that is stored to be distinguished. It's possible that an entity can have a name that means two different things or even more than two things. For instance, I've seen somebody who bears my name, but I'm not that same person. And so if you have that kind of data on Wikidata, the way that is going to be distinguished is by using the unique identifier. And that unique identifier starts with the number Q and the letter Q followed by some numbers. So it's a combination of a letter and a number. And the letter is always Q. So we also call it QID for short. Unique identifier, we call it QID. So it helps to distinguish one item from another item. If you have an item that is, let's say, let me use BB. So if we have somebody who bears the name BB and we have another BB, we have another BB, we have like different BBs, maybe 10 or so. The way that Wikidata is going to distinguish which BB is by assigning a unique identifier, which is a QID, it's like a code. So once you create an item, immediately it is assigned a code so that just in case there's a similar name or item like that, it can easily be distinguished. And then, of course, reference is very important on Wikidata. We always advocate that any data, any information you are putting on Wikidata should have a reliable source. Where did you get it from? That source you got it from is a reliable source. You should be able to add a reference so that the information or the data can be verified. That's what makes it unique and trustworthy and accurate reliability is very important. If we cannot rely on the data, then it makes less sense for us who are the users. So we always want to have quality and accuracy all in one. So next slide. This is just a graphical image that shows a typical item. So as you can see at the top, you see Douglas Adams, which is the label. So the label is the more or less the title or the name of the entity and the item. And so close to Douglas Adams, you see a code Q42. So that is the unique identifier that is assigned to Douglas Adams. That's the unique code, the QID for Douglas Adams. So whenever you type in this code, you will always get Douglas Adams as the result. You cannot get any other result aside Douglas Adams. Then you see the description just under the Douglas Adams here. You see English writer and humorist. So Douglas Adams, it tells you that Douglas Adams is an English writer and a humorist. And then we have the aliases, maybe other names that the entity is known for or known as, which is Douglas Noel Adams. And then we have statements. And so just as I was explaining earlier, statement is a combination of properties and values. The properties are on the left side and the values are on the right side. So the property that is here is educated at, and it tells you where Douglas Adams was educated, St. John's College, which is value of the property. And so he also gives you additional information qualifiers and tells us, oh, this is when he started school here, this is when he ended, this is the award degree he bagged, and this is what he majored in English language and all of that. So that's basically how it works on Wikidata. And so I'll go to the next slide. The guidelines, the principles, policies, facts. So first of all, I would like to say that Wikidata is a collaborative project. It relies on contributions from volunteers in diverse communities that come together to edit and fact check, just to be sure that the knowledge is accurately represented. You know, it's not a one-man show. So it's a collaborative project. Different people who are interested in the open knowledge movement, they come together to contribute their own quota to build the knowledge base and ensure that it is accurate information and only accurate information. Also to ensure that the information is supported by reliable sources, meaning all your references must be verifiable and reliable. Also, we uphold the principle of NPOV. NPOV means neutral point of view. So we believe that the information you're going to be bringing or you're going to be adding to Wikidata should be without bias, without personal opinion, without prejudice. Don't bring your bias, don't bring your personal opinion or view or whatever you think is inconsequential. All Wikidata wants is fact, fact, fact that is backed up with a reference. So it's not a platform to promote any propaganda or any of that. So the data and the information from Wikidata is structured and is widely reused by other projects, applications, researchers, and all of that. So there are so many people who come to Wikidata to get their data sets, like maybe software developers, researchers, project managers, people who build apps, and all of that. They come to Wikidata to get their data sets, other valuable information from. And so that is why we always work to ensure that the information stays reliable, because it won't make sense if we're coming to get an unreliable information. to use for your project. And this makes it very broad and enhances like a wide application of the knowledge that you put on Wikidata. So whatever you put on Wikidata, bear in mind that it's being widely reused by several other people across the globe. Next slide. And so there's some misconceptions of Wikidata. First of all, Wikidata is not Wikipedia. Like I said in my opening statement, Wikidata is a structured data repository, but Wikipedia is an online encyclopedia that has articles, what you find on Wikipedia, articles, pages, and all of that. But what you find on Wikidata are raw data, but in a structured form. Both of them are Wikimedia projects, but they serve different purposes. We have administrators who are actively patrolling edits. We also have robots that are regularly validating the data alongside other maintenance activities, just to be sure that the available data stays reliable and accurate. So you can bank on data from Wikidata. Thirdly, people think that Wikidata is a finished project. So Wikidata is not a finished project, actually. It still relies on community efforts for editors to add information, update the existing ones, improve them, you know. So it's not a finished project, and it would never be a finished project because data and information grows every second. And so there's a need for expansion, there's a need for updates, improvements, and even creating new items about entities. Another misconception, people think that Wikidata is for just a particular type of data. No, you can create items about basically anything. It covers a very wide range of topics. So you can create item about a newspaper, about an organization, about a human being, about a thing that happened, about an event, anything, as long as you have references that are reliable to back it up. So yeah. And lastly, Wikidata, people say that, oh, Wikidata is only for Wikimedia projects. No, Wikidata is freely accessible and it can be used by anyone, not just for Wikimedia editors or not just for Wikimedia project only. We have a wide range of users who use Wikidata. And so next slide, and the hands-on demo. So if you want to edit Wikidata as a first time, what you need to do, just log into wikidata.org. And then if you are a new user, you can click on the create account and proceed to create your account. Choose any username and password of your choice. Provide your email address for the verification. And that's all. And then if you're an existing editor already, you have an account previously on Wikipedia or any other wiki project, you don't need to create a new account. The Wikimedia projects are synchronized. So if you have created an account on any other project before and you want to edit on Wikidata for the first time, you just need to log in your details, your username and your password, and then you're in. So I'd like us to go into the demo so that we'll be able to do a few things. And I'll show you guys some stuff. So I'm going to pause for a second. Maybe there are questions. We can take a few of them and I'll bring some clarity before we proceed. So yeah. Baby, are there any questions on the chat?
Okay, I think so far no questions on the chat box. But if anyone has a question, you can go ahead and ask now before we progress. Okay, does anyone have a question for Christ like before we progress? Any questions based on what he has already explained? Okay, I think you can continue. There's no questions. There are no questions yet.
All right, so since there are no questions for now, let's go into the demo. So I would stop sharing the slide and then share my screen for your demo instead. Yeah. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Okay, Christ, like I think you have a question in the chat box.
Okay. So yes, the network threw me out.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, we
Yes.
have a question, and though you mentioned it earlier, but Elizabeth is asking if you have if you're having an account for Wiki Commons, can you also use it for Wikidata?
Yes. If you have created an account on Wikimedia Commons or on Wikipedia or any of the wikis, you don't need to create a new account for Wikidata. If you have any wiki account, you can use it on any wiki project. All you just need to do is click on login, then put in the username that you used to open your account and your password. That's all. And then you're logged in. So I hope that's like answered the question. Okay. So let me start again just in case you're wondering how we got to this page. You go to your browser and type wikidata.org and it brings you to this page. So this is the interface I spoke about. This is how it looks like. You have, once you're logged in, you would see at the top of the top right, you would see log out. If you're not logged in, you would see a login and then a create account tab for you to click. And so this is a tab for you to see your contributions so far. And this is a tab for you to switch to dark mode if you prefer dark mode. It looks like this. If you don't like, you can switch back to light mode, and this is back to light mode. And this is a page for watch lists. You can place maybe any page you want to be monitoring for a period of time. You can add it to your watch list here. And so then we have the beta, we have preferences. On these preferences is where you set you can make some personalized settings here, how you want your profile to be, your appearance, editing, recent changes, everything. And so about the skin, I'm using the Vector Legacy 2010 skin, but you can choose to switch to maybe Vector 2022. If I switch the skin, let me show you how it looks. If you select anyone you want, you can click on save. Once you click on save, click on refresh. Once you refresh and go to the main page, you see the interface has changed a little. We have this tab here. We have the buttons here have reduced and brought a drop down here. So if you prefer it like this, you can always come and switch it. But if you do not prefer it like this, you can come back to preferences and change it. So I prefer the 2010 skin. You can also select the MENA venue, the monobook, or the timeless. So I choose the Vector Legacy 2010. And then, yeah, I click on save. And then it takes me back to the initial skin that I have. So you see, this is how the Vector 2010 looks like. And so you have some other tabs here that on the left hand side that you can explore. Yeah, and so this is the home page. You can easily scroll down and read more, learn more about data, get involved, and a lot of other things. So this is the search bar. On the search bar, you can basically search for anything of your choice. So do you have like a suggestion in the chat? Maybe anything you have in mind that you want us to search for, you can. Somebody should like drop on the chat suggestions that we can search for. Maybe a name of a person, a place, a team. Just give us a suggestion so that we can search for it. There's no on the chat. Baby, do you want to suggest an entity that we can search for?
Okay, that's fine. Let's work with as you mentioned earlier, Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay, let's say Bola Tinubu. So one of the things on Wikidata you observe is that while you're typing for, you're trying to search for anything, you'd see suggestions pop up like this. So you'll be able to find out which of the entities or which item are you looking for particularly. So what we're looking for is this first one, President of Nigeria. So I'll click on it. So Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is the item for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And then for you, your interface may not be exactly like this because like I have some scripts and gadgets enabled on my account. So, but for you, basically, you would see the name. This is the name of the item here. Then this is the QID I spoke about. You see a unique identifier assigned to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which is Q3510872. And there is no other entity that has this code assigned to it. If you search, when we were searching, we see some other Bola came out. And we had like one or two, you see. So this is another Bola Tinubu, is a corporate lawyer. If you click on it, you would see that it's assigned a separate QID so that you'll be able to distinguish this Bola Tinubu from the previous Bola Tinubu, who is the president of Nigeria. So that's how the QID works. Then the next thing you see is this box here, which is like it has the label, the description, and the also known as. So this is where you type in the name of the entity, the label in English, type in the description, and then if there are other names that the person is known as, you can put it here. Also, you can type it in your language. You can see there are several languages that exist. There's Hausa, Igbo, Arabic, Bangla, Czech, German, Greek, Spanish, French, Hebrew, several languages. So if your language is not here, you can always come and add it. If you want to do that, it's very simple. You just look up here. You see this pencil-like icon. Click on it, edit, and you can basically add your language. Now, you can also add descriptions, and if you want to make a correction as well, you can do that here. And so one of the things that is important for you to have your language here is that you set up your Babel. And so on that Babel, um, for you to do that is very simple. Click on at the top here, you see your username. So click on your username. As I click on mine, you see that I have this Babel information here. I set my languages to be English, my native language, Igbo, and I also set Hausa. You can also set the level of fluency. If it's your native language, you can use N. If you have a professional knowledge of the language, you can use number 5. If you just have a little knowledge, you can use number 1. So for you to have this, just type in the code of the Babel. Let me paste the code on the chat so you can also set up your own and use the language code as well. So this is how it works. I copy this. Sorry. So you just paste it on your user page. And so EN is for English. You have to know your language code. So EN is for English. DE is for Dutch. HA is for Hausa. IG is for Igbo. ES is for Spanish. And yeah. So if you want just one language, you can just put it as English only. If you want more than one, you can add as many languages as you want. So yeah, that's how it works. So back to the Wikidata. And yeah, so these are the statements. Now, like I said, the statements are made up of properties and values. The properties on the left side, as you can see, there's so many statements here, so many statements here. There's so many statements here. And the first one we have is all of these statements are adding information about the item, which is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So the first one tells us that instance of human, that means it tells you that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a human being. The next property you have here is image, and the value it gives you the image of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the president of Nigeria. And the next property you have is sex or gender, and the value is male. It tells you that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is male, and then you see there's a reference added here as well. The next property we have here is country of citizenship, and the value is Nigeria, meaning he is a Nigerian, and you see a reference added here that you can verify. You also have name in native language, his birth name, his given name. You can add all of this, his family name, date of birth, and a reference for you to verify, as you can see. Place of birth, Lagos, is the name of his mother, the name of his wife. You can be just all of these things are information that are useful about Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So if you want to add more statements, just scroll down and you see this button here saying add statements. If you click on it, it asks you which statement do you want to add. You type in the whatever it is. You type it in, for instance, and let me see which property should we use now. This item looks very I don't know which property we can add here. Let's see. Let me see if I use a recoin to get suggestions. Okay, let's say residence. So if you want to add a statement to improve this item about Bola Tinubu, you can just type in residence as a property. Sorry, residence. And it says the place where the person is or has been resident. So you can put Nigeria here, is resident in Nigeria. An option will come out, yes, sovereign state in West Africa. You click on it, and then this button you see, publish. You can click on publish. That's all. So what you need to do is you say, oh, it needs one reference for this kind of statement. So you can add a reference that talks about where he's resident. So you go to your browser and say, where does Bola Ahmed Tinubu reside? Lagos, Abuja, State House. So you can use references from the Wikipedia article, or you can use references from normal websites. So this is a Wikipedia article about Bola Tinubu. So if you want to use this article as a reference, what you need to do is copy the URL, which is this. I'll copy it. So on this article, it says that he used to be the governor of Lagos State and obviously reside in Lagos before he became the president of Nigeria and started residing in Abuja. So you can also add another place that he has lived as, you can say add value. You can say Lagos. Okay. Largest city and the former capital of Nigeria. So you can click on publish, and then why is flagged? You can see anytime you see this flag, it means you click on it, it means that yes, no reference. Add at least a reference. So what you need to do to add a reference, click on this add reference. Now you have options. They ask you, where did you get it from? Did you get it from a normal URL? If you got it from a normal URL, use this reference URL. But if you got it from like a Wikimedia site, what you use is Wikimedia import URL. So you type import and this is it. Then it gives you a box to paste it. So you paste your URL here, and then you add another property for retrieved. This retrieved tells you what date did you get it. So today's date, I got it from this website, and I got it on this day. Now click on publish. You can see the flag has disappeared because I've added a reference. So if anybody wants to verify this guy is still in Nigeria, maybe I could just use Abuja instead of Nigeria. Okay, I could use Nigeria, and then I could use, and say he later moved to the United States and then he studied accounting. So maybe I could use United States in the second option. So I'll say United States here. And then click publish. When you publish, next thing you do is to add your reference. You say, I got it from, if you just type Wikimedia imports to pop up for you, you see the pop-up come out. So you paste the URL and also put the retrieved, tell you the day you got it, and publish. So let me pause here for now. I think I saw a question on the chat. So let's answer questions for maybe continue again. So yes, there's a question in the chat from Dawa. It says, can I add content about myself to Wikidata or it's not allowed? Now, for you to add content about yourself, it means that you have to be very notable. And so we have a policy that guides our notability on Wikidata. How do we know you are notable? Is either you have achieved one of these things. So I'll drop a link for you to read out it, and then we can discuss some of these policies on our next meeting. But I think we're meeting by Friday, right? Maybe. But I could speak about it a little. So I'll put it on the chat now. You can read about it, notability. So you cannot add content about yourself just like that, except you are notable enough. And for you to be considered very notable, it means maybe you have a page on Wikipedia, or you have significant coverage in reliable sources. Maybe you are established in a particular field, or there's like a structural need for you to make a statement. It depends on what field you're in. If you are maybe politics, engineering, field of science, and you've made some remarkable impacts, and then there are references about you online available to back up your your claims, then sure, you can create an item, but you can't create it by yourself. So if you want to create a Wikidata item, somebody has to create it for you. You can't create it by yourself. It's just like on Wikipedia, you can't create a Wikipedia item about yourself by yourself. If you are notable enough to have a Wikipedia article on a page, somebody else has to create the item or the article rather. And so that's how it works on Wikidata too. So if you're notable enough, somebody will create the item for you and provide reliable sources to back up whatever claims. that you're going to put up so that it can be verified. Because the thing is that if it cannot be verified and if it's not notable, it will be deleted by the admins or the patrollers or any other editor with extended rights. So the information and the data is regularly being checked to be sure that most of the entities we create items for are notable, and if they are accurate too as well. So yes, I hope that answered your question, Hilary. Down. So do we have more questions? I have a question. I'd like to get feedback from our participants on the call. For Hilary and Elizabeth, I'd like to know, have you interacted with Wikidata? Have you used Wikidata before, or is this your first time? I'd like to hear from you. You can unmute your mic and speak, or you can type on the chat. Okay, Hilary, both Hilary and Elizabeth, it's your first time. So yes. So we have, like I explained on the session in the slides. So we have Wikidata is my favorite project, and we have a couple of stuff that you get to learn on Wikidata. And with time, we'll have like subsequent trainings, so you get to learn more about Wikidata. But for starters, these are like the things you need to know. And like I was explaining about notability, you need to, for you to meet the notability criteria, at least you should you should have like significant coverage on the media. So you find a lot of items that do not have significant coverage, that do not have reliable sources to back it up. And so most of them end up being deleted or marked for deletion. So you should be able to make sure that any article you are improving or you are creating has reliable sources to back it up. So one of the first tasks that I usually advise and suggest to new editors is not to just go straight up to start creating new items. No, you can improve existing items. You can update items, you can add statements, you can add labels and descriptions. So maybe let's search for one item that we can improve. Do you have suggestions in the chat? Let's see. Does any of you have any person at all you have in mind that you want us to search for? Elizabeth or Hilary?
This is Elizabeth. I think we should search on Nelson Mandela. I don't know. Yeah, just something on
Okay.
Nelson Mandela.
I'm searching for Nelson Mandela. So this is the item about Nelson Mandela. As you can see, there's a unique code assigned to him, Q8023. So it's the unique identifier. Whenever you type in this code, you always find Nelson Mandela, who is the vice who is the first president of South Africa and also an activist. Next thing you see is this box. It gives you the label in English and description and AKAs, other names that he's known as. And then there are other editors who have gone ahead to add the labels in their native languages. This is Hausa, this is Igbo. There's no description yet for Nelson Mandela in Igbo. So maybe I can find what language, Elizabeth, what language do you speak?
I just speak Arabic,
Arabic.
but yeah, that's like the common language here. But my own native language is Shilluk.
Is your language on Wiki?
I
Is your language on Wiki? I think that the Arabic has been already added. The Arabic label and description for Nelson Mandela is already here. But your native language, can you spell?
Shilluk, that is SH
SH?
double L UK. You put
SH
I in
double,
between. No, SHI
okay.
double L
Okay,
U.
SHILLA. What's the language code?
It's U. It's U.
Okay,
UK. UK.
okay, Shiluk. Is this what country?
In South Sudan.
Oh, let me see if we can. Okay, the language is not captured. Do you know your language code?
I know. I know how to speak basics, but not writing.
Oh, okay. How about you? Hilary, do you know your language code? Let's see if we'll be able to add. If it's not already existing, we can add the label and description here.
Mine is Kakwa and it's also not added to Wikimedia.
Okay, that's a challenge. But one of the efforts that we're trying to make is getting more communities to have their language digitized in a way that it brings more visibility, especially for those endangered languages. So you can work hard in your community to, if you have more interested editors, can come together to start to build a language community and maybe have your language on Wiki and then begin to write in your language, especially those that are experienced. And it will make a lot of sense in language preservation, culture and heritage preservation, and all of that. So let me see if I can search for something that we can work on. Girl Child Network. Okay, I searched for Girl Child Network. Okay, Hilary says, what are the requirements to add a language in Wiki? So if you want to add your language on Wiki, which is not existing before, you need to, first of all, have a community of that language speaker. So if it's Shiluk, for example, you need to have a good number of persons who speak the language fluently and they can read and write in the language. You have like, it depends what writing system you use, if it's Latin script or whichever you use. And then you would have to apply the language diversity hub and the language community, language committee rather, and express your interest to have your language digitized and added on Wiki. And then you go through a process of setting up the language, make sure you have the ISO code, the language code, and a few other things. And once all of those requirements are confirmed, you can start on the incubator. So on the incubator is like a preliminary phase where you have to um, edit, create articles in your native language, just like the way we have it. Yes, you say that's a lot. Yes, it is a lot because we take it as a very important uh, step and activity. So yeah, like processes to all of this. And so if you start writing, translating on the incubator, after a while, if your community or your local language speakers are doing very great, then we move you into a project. So you have a project on your own, just the way we have English, Wikipedia, you have French, we have German, all of these very much advanced languages that have many more speakers. So the more your community edits, the more you get to learn, the more you get to improve and digitize your language and preserve your language from going to extinction, and the better for all of you. So if it's something that you want to consider, yes, you can discuss it with your community who are digital literate community members, and you can kickstart the process. So yeah, that's how it works. So I wanted us to create a fresh article from scratch. So before we wrap it up for today. So I want to create an article about the girl child network in Zimbabwe. So first things first, you do a search if the girl child network exists. You can't find anything about it. So I'm going to do a Google search to see if I'll see anything about it in Google search. So this is the first one, girl child network. It is in Zimbabwe, as you can see. Abi, in Kenya. No, it's Zimbabwe. So let me try to. I think the network is a bit site, it doesn't open. Let's try this. All right, it's loading up. So it says Girl Child Network is an independent, and this is registered in Kenya with regional operation in Somalia and Uganda. It was established in so. So we can use this site as a reference, and it has some very helpful information here. So if you want to create an item about this girl child network, it doesn't exist. If you searched and see that it doesn't exist, you see this by your left, create a new item, you click on it. And so once you click on it, it brings you to this page where you get to create your item. So it asks you what language you want to start with. You can put your language here. EN is for English. And then what is the name, which is the label? The name is Girl Child Network. And a short description about the Girl Child Network. As we saw here, it is an NGO. Is an NGO, a non-profit. You can just say a non-profit organization. And let me see what they also do. uh, to facilitate implementation of Beijing plan. They coordinate child rights program in Kenya with emphasis on the girl child. Okay, so we can say it's a non-profit organization that coordinates girl child rights in. So we can say, yeah, a non-profit organization focused on oh hmm, my keyboard is not bringing up. Okay, coordinating girl child rights. So this alliance is, if you know any other name they are known as, you can use it, which is GCN. They also call GCN. So you can type in GCN here, GCN. Then you click on create. So it automatically creates it and assigns a QID for you, as you can see here. Now, you just have a label, description, and an AKA. You don't have any statements because we've not added any statements. So first statement you click on and say add. It asks you instance of what is this entity? So you can say sorry, I say non-profit organization, and click on publish. So you can see this is how you create your items from scratch. Then you ask you another statement you want to add. What country is it? So we saw here the country is registered in Kenya. And then also have regional operations in Somalia and Uganda. So we can say Kenya first. You type in Kenya, you see the country in Eastern Africa. Yes. You click on it, and then you click on publish. Then the next thing you need to do is you can say when did this start? The inception, it was established in 1995. So I can say inception 1995. Yes, then you can say publish. So now we've added about 3 statements. This is the first statement, this is the second, and this is the third. So let's add references to back up these things so that anybody who wants to verify can verify it. So I copy this URL where I got all of this information. I'll just copy it. I'll come here. Usually, we don't advise to add references on this instance of the first one. So you can add on the country, just say add reference. Then, because we didn't get this reference from a wiki site, we'll use reference URL. Take note. If you didn't get information from a wiki site, use reference URL and paste the link. Once you paste the link, you also say retrieved. When did you get it? Which is today's date, and then you publish. So you can see I've added the reference here. If you come across this girl child network and you want to, you can come here and then verify it. I also add a reference for this inception. I can say add reference. I'll say reference URL and I'll paste the link. I'll also add retrieved, which date I get it retrieved there. And then, yeah, I publish. So I would stop for now so that maybe you guys can improve this. I'm looking forward. I'll check by Friday now next. Can come and improve this. There's so many statements if you want to improve and add more things here. Just come here and click on add statements. Maybe you can say the primary function. You can talk up. You can add here. You can add, the areas of their work, things they focus in. See, their founders, people they partner with. You can add all of this information here. Yes, the NGO, I see your question, Hilary. The NGO website can be used, of course. The NGO website let's see if we find the NGO's website directly. Let me see if it's this one. If you have the NGO's website, you can also use it as well as a reference. If you want to use it, you use the reference URL property. And yeah. So, okay, this is the direct NGO website. You can see there's so many more things information you can find. You can find the address. You can find the, you can copy this address. You can add it and say, street address, see street address and paste it, yeah. And they say this language, what language is this address written in? The language is written in English. So I'll select English and then I'll publish. So space here. Yeah. Publish. See, we have added a statement about the street address. Where you get it from, you add your reference as well. Select the reference URL. And then we got it from the website of the NGO. Copy the URL, paste it on this point, and then publish. So you can come and improve the item. You can add their phone numbers. You can add your headquarters. You can see there's a statement for you to add where it's located, the head office, located in administrative locality, administrative territorial entity. Add the official websites. You can add, these are suggestions of things that they want you to add. You can add the headquarter location, the coordinates if you have it. So yeah, I'll leave it for maybe you guys to improve. You can always improve this statement. So maybe I'll paste the link on the charts in case you're looking to improve it further. So this is let me paste it on the chart now. This is the item. If you want to improve it, I hope that before we meet next, somebody would take up the challenge to come and add more statements. You can use this website. There are a lot of information you can find here to improve and add more details about the girl-child network on Wikidata. So I would like to stop here for today. It's 5:31. So do we have more questions before we call it a night? So I hope to see some questions on the chats. If you have questions on the chat, or if you want to speak, you can also unmute yourself. So today we've learned about Wikidata. We've created an item from scratch. We know what an item is. We know what statements are. These are statements. You know what a property is. These are properties. Instance of is a property. Country is a property. Inception is a property. Street address is a property. Then these are the values. For every property, you have a value that gives you the information. The value for this property of country is Kenya. So it means this NGO, this non-profit organization is from Kenya. Is located in Kenya rather, and it was established in 1995. This is the value. Then also gives you the street address, and once you add more statements, it becomes a valuable resource that anyone can come and gain knowledge from. So remember, we talked about the references. You always add a reference so that the information can be verified. And subsequently, for our next training, I would come with more exercises for you to do. Maybe I'll bring a list of items that you can improve items that you can create from scratch, and you maybe keep yourself busy and get to explore the wiki data more and more. The more you edit, the more you love it, and then yeah, the more it gets exciting. So I'll stop here for now. There are no questions on the chats, and then I'm sure the recording will be made available to you just in case you would want to watch and go over it again. And I can also drop the link to my slide just in case you need it. I can share the slide to you, so you can anytime refer back to it. So yes, thank you so much. Bibi, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Christ-like, for such an insightful session. I'm sure the mentees learned a lot, just as Elizabeth already mentioned. Thank you very much for pouring your heart to this training. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, but also, Christ-like, we are supposed to have an assignment for them. They're supposed to have assignments for every training, because they are scored based on the assignments for every class.
Yes, I'm going to send it to you so you can forward to them. The assignment is very simple because we are basically starters. So I'll give you maybe items that I want you to improve by adding statements, and then I'll give you one item that I want you to create from scratch. So we are like 3 on this call that stayed up to this point, right?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Elizabeth, Hilary, and then one other person.
Audrey.
Yes.
Just came in.
So I'll drop the assignment, and then you can get it done before Friday. Yeah. It's very simple. I don't want to give you like very complex things to do. So the more we dive in, the more we'll get to do more complex stuff. But basically, we start off by justice. So I'll put it up, and then I would send it to you so that you can try your hands on it. And feel free, if you maybe encounter any challenge, you need to ask question, you can always reach out to me or to Bibi. But you get the assignment tonight so that you can start working on it. You have like 2 days before our next meeting to work on it. So sure, you will get, maybe you get it.
Okay, that's nice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. So just as Questlek already said, if you have any challenges or any questions, any concerns at all, kindly reach out to us. You can reach out to me directly, or you can reach out to the trainer, Christ-like, for any guidance. So I'll send in the assignments later today in the group. So make sure you finish it up before the next training so that you can submit and you can get your scores for the class. Thank you all very much for joining. Okay, Questlek, please, I don't know if you can help me take a screenshot of you for the attendance. I'm not in my system. I'm using a mobile phone. So if you can help me take a screenshot.
Okay, so are we muting?
Yeah, I think you can turn on your videos. So that I can.
If you're in a very good environment, you can turn on your camera.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can just give me a sec. I'll make it on a gallery view. Yeah.
Could you have it now?
Just 2 minutes.
Okay.
Somebody is joining in.
Yes, please just hold on so that we can add that to the attendance.
Okay.
Okay. Have you gotten it?
Nope. My just hold on a second.